Welcome back. I'm Jen Potter, the host of Networking Now, and I am joined again with Brenda Hernandez. Before the break, we started talking about the evolution of all of her businesses, where she was and where she is today. We talked a little bit about, why she started doing all of the things that she's doing and how it got her to where she is. And, one of the things that we were talking about right at the very end before we went to break was that I've connected with your daughter, and watching her grow and expand and really start to feel empowered by not just me and you, but the community around us, other amazing women in the community that are also helping her to grow and elevate. And the lessons that she has learned that I've watched her witness it's been incredible. And one of our first conversations was you telling me about a little bit about your past, which we talked about, but the story that hit the most was why you do what you do for your daughter. And, I think both of us were even in tears when we were talking about it, right? Because, it hasn't always been easy, like you said. The
Yeah.
road has its ebbs and flows, and you were a single mom for a long time.
hmm
And I think it's really important to recognize that, I always say the universe never gives us more than we can handle. And you have proven, strength and determination and to help to shape her future. And I found that to be one of the most beautiful parts of the story. And I said it before, every time I talk about her I get teary-eyed and I'm
mm
going to start crying, because like she had just such an amazing impact and still continues to have an impact on me even when I don't talk to her all the time. So if you want to kind of just talk a little bit about what that part of your journey looked like as a mom, and kind of going through all of that, because there are plenty of other moms that are going through that now that
mm.
need to hear that and know that you can get through it, right?
It's so funny as you're talking, I can so feel like the genuine love that you have for her, and it just touches me and it fills me with emotion too. Um, I was a single mom for many, many years, and I was in a very unhealthy relationship with Michaela's dad. When I left that relationship, I have to be really honest with you and I have to be really honest with myself. I raised Kayla from a place of fear. And so, not knowing, I actually restricted her from thinking and being her truest self. When she turned 18, the wheels fell off. She was like, I am claiming me. I am I'm claiming my voice, and we are going to figure out like where I want to be. And it was really like interesting to
Doesn't that
say,
sound familiar?
yes,
Like, I
yes.
mean, I'm just saying, like, after
Yeah,
hearing the
yeah.
first part of your story, I mean, it does sound a little bit familiar, like she's her mother's daughter.
Oh, she is my daughter, true and true. In the beginning, I didn't understand it, Jen. It was all very confusing to me because I thought like I was such a great mother. Like, what is going on? But then I realized like I navigated from a place of fear and I limited her in so many ways. And now she needed to find her independence. And so through that process, she made a very bold decision right from the beginning that she was not going to go to college. It just didn't call her attention. It wasn't something that she wanted to do. And so in the beginning, it was a little scary, like, okay, what is she going to do with her life? But just like me, she started just kind of doing the work and sitting with herself. And she realized like being an esthetician was something that she really could get behind. And so she's decided to go to school for that. And as she was growing and evolving and going through school, I had the opportunity to meet you. And you'd mentioned that you were coaching. And I thought, oh my God, like what a gift to be able to give my daughter someone that can really help her lay out her path. And one of the things that really resonated with me about you was you were all about helping people find and believe in their voice and follow their intuition, which is where I live, you know? And so
Right.
I was like, I have to connect them. I have to connect them. And it was the most beautiful gift that I ever could have given her because it really just helped her to start setting a path for herself. And it's just been such a beautiful journey, just to see her evolve and really hone in on her voice. And, you know, life being life, it's never straight. There's always, you know, some ups and some downs, but just to see the way she's navigating through those things, it's just been really beautiful and really powerful. And so to your point, like that's my mission now, is just to really help her and other women and my 9-year-old like really believe in themselves and be able to speak their truth.
Which is, I think it's really amazing and important that, that we're able to see that. And, like you said, you've you were able to let go and let her kind of see that for herself, and me being able to be there to guide her, and
Yeah.
from nothing more other than just saying, what is the decisions that you want to make, how is that going to shape your future, and where is it that you want to be, right? And there's a lot to it, but it's trusting that natural instinct of, this is what I want to do. And sometimes it's our own fears that kind of put us in
Yeah.
front of it, in front of ourselves. And even for myself included, as a woman who empowers other women all of the time, sometimes I get stuck too. And I have my moments, and I've had some of those moments where we stop and we go, wait, I'm the person who, shines this light for other people. Why am I having a hard time making a decision? Because it's
Ugh.
so easy to tell other people how easy it is to do something, but then when, the light is turned in the other direction, you're like, oh, I have to do this too. And for me, especially over the past several months, I have so many other things kind of going on in my life that, through her and a few of my other clients, they've shown me that I also need to trust myself when it comes to some things.
Mm-hmm.
And it's this ongoing, buildup of how we encourage and grow with other women. And I think that's one of the biggest things. Like, every time I'm around you, and or her or other women that, like, I surround myself with, I walk away and I feel like I'm floating, right? Like, the last time we were together, like, I felt like there was so much energy between us, because we lift each other up, and
Mm-hmm.
truly say, like, what are we going to do to be the best possible versions of
Yeah.
ourselves? And we lift and we elevate. And, that's how we connected in the first place. And, that was kind of like the next thing that I really want to talk about, right? Like, I gave a motivational talk, and after I was done with the talk, we connected, and I met your daughter, and I got to know you. And then from there, we really started this other friendship of, what we do, how we grow, how we inspire. And part of one of the things that I do, obviously, I have a TV show, I run conferences, I speak all over the world. And I know that it's also part of what I'm supposed to do is give other women that same opportunity. And, when I was doing my women's conference, we already booked all of our speakers, and it just so happened that someone backed out, right? And it was like the same week that you sent me a message and you're like, hey, if you need any more speakers, I'm here. And I felt awful, because I was like, oh, we have a full roster, like, we don't have enough room. And then all of a sudden somebody dropped off, and you were able to jump on the conference. And I remember being that day, listening to your story, and, all of these amazing things, the feedback that I got. And, I'm not just saying this, like, we sat there and we
Yeah.
both cried when we were talking. And the impact that you have when you tell your story, it really impacted me. It impacts me every time I hear the story. I get goosebumps every time I hear it, because I know the impact that you're going to continue to have with women all around you. And so it's funny, because I was asked to speak, right? I think I was away on vacation. I was asked to speak at one of the local universities. And as soon as she goes, if you're not available, do you know anybody else? And I called you right away. I remember that conversation. I actually think we were at a dance competition. That's where I was. And I remember calling you and going, I
Yeah.
know this is going to sound really weird,
Yeah.
but I got asked to speak, and you were the first person that I thought of. I'm like, it's kind of last minute. Do you want to do it? And you're like, absolutely. And so it's really amazing you meet and you can grow as a community, because
Hmm.
I think that's how we're going to continue to grow and elevate everybody else around us, because it's just, you know, you wanted to tell your story, and it's like you said, you put it out into the universe. Like, I'm a big believer, if you put it out to the universe and believe it existed, it exists, right? And you said to me, you're like, I'm putting it out into the universe, and I'm like, here's all of these amazing opportunities. And so, it's been really amazing to be able to kind of watch you grow too. So it's like, I got like a twofer when I got like your whole family. So it's such an amazing experience for me, because I just love to watch. I watch other women find themselves and really step into their light, and then they just shine. I don't know, it makes me excited.
Yeah, no, it's so funny. You said something earlier, and it really just, like, if I could share anything with the audience and anything with every woman, is confidence. There's like this, there's this narrative that confidence is supposed to look a certain way. But I firmly feel at the age of 44 years old is confidence is having fear, but still taking a leap. And that's really like on a day to day. You know, when I sent you the message originally to say, hey, I'm wondering if you have any space for a speaker. I was nervous. I was like, what is she going to think? Does she think I have the capability? But I was like, you know what? I'm still going to do it. Like my ego is going to create this whole story, and it can do that. That's fine. But I'm still going to get vulnerable, and I'm still going to ask the question. And so when you came back and you were like, we actually have a full roster right now, I was like, okay, no big deal. Like, at least I had the guts to do it. And then literally a few days later, you were like, guess what? Like, a spot just open, And that's literally how I navigate my life now, Jen. Like, I will have an idea, and then the ego comes in and starts filling me with all these thoughts and fears. And I'm like, you know what? They're there. I acknowledge that those fears and those voices are there, but I'm still going to get vulnerable, and I'm still going to do what I set out to do. And so that would be like the biggest thing that I would share with anyone is it's okay to have doubts. It's okay to have fears. It's okay to have negative thoughts. What are you going to do with it?
Absolutely. And we
Hmm.
can only control what we can control. We can't control how someone's going to react, right? And
Yeah.
so when we take that leap, worst case scenario, somebody tells us no. And I was at a conference. It was actually before the last conference. I was at another conference, and the speaker actually said, "It just means not right now." And then it was
Hmm.
funny because our MC for the big women's conference that we had in the fall, in the spring, just a few months ago, the MC is an author, and she gave out a book to everyone that is called Not Yet. And
Mm.
it's funny because I adapted this in the fall of last year, of when someone tells me no, it just means not right now. And then she hands me this book, and she's like, it just means not yet. It means that there's a certain time that those things are supposed to happen. So it's amazing how that happens,
Hmm.
and how we're able to kind of learn and grow from that. And worst case scenario, it just doesn't happen. Best case scenario, we get to do those things, right? It's like listening to that intuition, which I think is a
Yeah.
really amazing thing.
And it's
And
so interesting too, Jen. Sorry to interrupt, but
oh no,
it's
you're good.
really amazing too, because sometimes you go in and you get vulnerable and you ask the question, and that door might not open, but another door bigger could possibly open. So it's what I'm learning is it never looks like what you thought it was going to look like. It's always so much bigger and more beautiful.
I
And
spoke to
so
myself this morning.
again, it's so
Same
important to
thing.
get vulnerable because you allow for that to transpire.
It really does. And I feel like we can talk about that
Yeah.
forever. But we're wrapping up already. I can't believe it's already happened so fast. I would love for you to tell everybody, how they can get a hold of you,
Sure.
all of the things that you're working on, and yeah.
Yeah, so I'm definitely full blown into growing my home staging business. It's growing, it's thriving, it's so exciting. You can see my work at www.designsbyher.net. And then you can also follow me on Instagram. It's SIGNS_by_her.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. And then if you have a hard time getting a hold of her, you can always contact me. It was a pleasure having you on. I look forward to having you on again in the future, talking about all of the things that you're continuing to work on. And I've personally seen a lot of the work that you've been doing. Every time you post, I'm like a stalker and I'm like following all of it because I'm like, that's what I want my house to look like, because that's not what my house looks like. And it just looks absolutely beautiful. So definitely follow her, pay attention to all the things that she's doing. This is just the beginning of
Yeah.
something even better. I feel it. It's coming. You're doing amazing things. And I'm so grateful that you came on today. So thank you.
Jen, thank you so much. I absolutely just love you. You are such a supportive person, and I'm so like blessed that you've come into my life. And you're absolutely right. We are just scratching the surface. I know that there is so much ready to happen for us.
Absolutely. So thank you so much. And I hope you have a great rest of the day.
Thank you, honey.